Alright, so we get straight into it. Excuse housemates' crazy laughter if you hear it, that's alright. Yeah, so I mentioned the Rosicrucians is one of their kind of symbols. You got like the bee and the rose, and we can think of what it means like metaphorically. You know, we've got geometry here. Bees are, you know, they create their own geometry as well. We got, you know, the cross. We got the squares, the quadrants. It's basically like another derivative of Masonism, which seems to stem from Egypt. I'm sure we're all in agreement on that. Like all things, these things degrade. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just, you know, gonna start saying some things about it. So originally we're looking at these two paintings here, and discussing the use of Da Vinci's technique of sfumato, which I'm pretty certain literally means to dull down. So he's producing a very dull, some dull productions, and he was obsessed with it, like, and it's spooky, man, it's spooky. He produced some ghostly images, and yeah. So as an example, you can see here this painting. Originally he did this, there's two of these, they're the same, but he painted this for the church originally, and it was so subversive when they looked at it. Like, they just thought, what is this vampiric shit? Like, take a look for yourself. Like, the characters are extremely pale. There's no warmth in it, there's no real light. It's cold, man. And it's in a modern depiction, and you're going into, like, the original kind of Da Vinci Code conspiracy bullshit, like with the rocky outcrops, like how, like in the Cather or some other religion, Jesus ran off with some prostitute and like had offspring or something. And I'm going to show why genetically this isn't a wise maneuver, basically because of how genetic science works, and why it's, probably incorrect. So where was I? Okay, so we painted this first for the church, and they were like, no, fuck that, do a better one, something more appropriate that doesn't depict the Holy Family as vampires. And like, you see, like, even this deity here has, like, it's not human, it's a ghost, she's got angel wings, like, and I don't know, that's supposed to be some holy mother or something, but or maybe a more representation of a spirit. But over here, the second one, much warmer. But we got the point here. So, and it seems like this character is pointing to the character of John. Now, why would, this is Jesus here, so John the Baptist, this, these paintings were at the request of the church, and not like Da Vinci used the church to protect, used the characters to encode his knowledge and protect it under their, like, you know, establishment kind of thing. So when you see like these prolific fucking John the Baptist paintings, it's not Da Vinci's obsession, which some people have theorized, with John the Baptist. It's more the church's obsession with John the Baptist, for many reasons. Probably, you know, revelations, like they base their whole plan, like that's it's total sorcery. So what else could be said about this? Like, so what he's done, I believe, since he's gone deeper into his own trip, he's gone, okay, like, you don't want to see what I think about it, like, you don't want to see my perspective of, like, genetics and how these things degrade over time, and how they're even maybe missing components that need to be filled in with other things, and how things work. Well, then I'm going to do something even more subversive, even more encrypted, and that's where we find this. Now I believe this can be seen as like a bit of a prequel, like, you know, Star Wars style, how they like did the prequels after the originals kind of thing, like original, very confusing prequel. Everyone was like, wait, I'm confused, where are we again in the Star Wars situation? Like, yeah, I was like, kind of confused me too. so you know, look at it like, you know, things start out pretty cool, you know, life not yet degraded over time. So we've got the warming original story here, but this pointing direction to a kind of more logical mind, like as I described, like you can see John and Jesus as representing two sides of the human brain and psychology, and like logic compared to abstract or whatever. So the logic, like in its ideal state, the logic should support the abstract, but here we're showing, like, you know, the direction and the focus seems to still be on John, you know what I mean? Like Jesus is still at a lower point as well, and he's got the higher ground here, even though he's like praising Jesus still, like, but from a higher point, like, yeah, cool, good on you, like, whatever bro, I'm still in charge here. It's like, and it shows the male dominant, like the female aspect is obviously the abstract, and it shows the male dominant side, the direction. Not saying John's like a negative thing, like there's a balance here, but you can look at it like, you know, this is direction we're following, just this yeah, kind of left side of awareness, or however you want to see it, sides or whatever, that male orientated logic dogmatic side, taking control, and I believe Da Vinci was showing this. So yeah, he's using the church to his advantage, but we can't be too, we got to see how he's doing it. Like, you got to read what Da Vinci writes himself, you know, his experiments, like he's moulding all these things together, but he gives you a good perspective of the church here, and, you know, the point is also something that was with John the Baptist a lot. And we see, like, John's up here higher on high safe ground, and Jesus, he's placed right on the edge of a cliff, a very dangerous cliff, like the phrase scaving the edge, you know, living on the edge, like someone with maybe dangerous ideas even, you know what I mean? Like, in this world, someone like that is living on the edge, you know what I mean? And someone like this has the highest safe ground. And we see like this carer of Jesus who's got nice red and green balanced shawl, whatever clothing here as well, like no wings yet, so still like the wings seem to be subliminally here in nature and like that spiritual essence. But in this painting, in the progression of some holy family, we see like a lack of really a physical protector of Jesus, like and you know, the wings seem to be attached, like, you know, seems to be like a how can you say it, like just not really existing on the physical plane, something that's missing from the physical plane really. Like this other Divine Mother character seems to be like closest consort with John. Jesus is being like ignored. She's got the hand, like, you know, like whatever, you know, nearly condescending really, like, I don't know, hand over the head, but like, yeah, once again, John seems to be the focal point. And it's the same in like the Last Supper, with there's a definite divide, and the archetypes are different. Negative aspects, positive aspects. You got the genetic trait which follows John, which is also transferable. See, Thomas has gained that, but there's pretty much only on Jesus' side. He's just got pretty much, you know, John's support, just like fucking, you know, I suggested in ideally that the logic should support the abstract, that certain type of logic. And so Da Vinci is suggesting that the female of whatever species is not the carrier of the divine bloodline, but carries these negative traits. So Da Vinci himself is suggesting, even though he may be appearing to use a Cather belief with the female character, he's using all these religious perspectives to bring about his own perspective on reality and divine bloodlines and situations like that. It's, you can nearly erase all occult bullshit and just go with the science if you want to, like yeah, like it seems ambiguous and like maybe hold different meanings, and that's because it's done so brilliantly that it does speak to, like, you know, everyone sees what they want kind of thing, but hidden beneath the layers is like, you know, the real story, like Da Vinci's story. And I do believe he related himself to like a divine bloodline or entity, but I believe that when it comes to genetics, he doesn't believe it follows a line. It just, there's a recombination there, and there's a time and a place where people like him spring out. It's like another guy I follow on YouTube, does a lot of like research into autism, and like, yeah, I started to look at it, like I've been noticing more and more people on the spectrum, and even, you know, like as you gain a perspective or insight into like these traits, like I even noticed like my own family, like people, like even myself, like there's like something that's a little bit in all of us. I don't know if like why autism's on the rise. It could be just because of the population increase, so you see more of it, something like that. Or the thing is with autism, it can be related to higher mental ability, like insane memory, recall, you know, savant style, like multiplying extreme numbers. Like the range of abilities is like out of control, and it's like nearly showing us something that superior to the human mind. It's like things might degrade, reach a total state of degradation before they evolve again or mutate. And I think that's where we're at, and you can probably use autism as a minor example of that, because it's showing a mutation, like just to see it as like a disability or a dysfunction, but at the same time there's some other things that are highly functioning, more functioning in the brain, and maybe closer to an original human state. So it's like kind of exposing that. Don't know if you're following me. Yeah, I think that you can tie that in with entropy too, how things evolve and degrade. What did I show this picture? Oh yeah, like I think I was going to maybe talk about cloning. Here we see like in this particular thing, like pretty much looks like a pot plant. Got a stem. It's like they've grafted something on, and its relevance to Osiris. Like they use plants a lot to describe genetic associations. So I think that's what pretty much Horus was.